name is Firmin at Varina High School. This is the Reading and Writing Across the Curriculum course. Today we're going to be focusing on nonfiction and preparing strategies for the Reading SOL. Good morning, everyone. So in front of you, you have a nonfiction article, you have a graphic organizer, and we're going to practice approaches of looking at a nonfiction article when you're taking the Reading SOL. Now the test is quickly approaching, and so we're just looking at our strategies and how we can get ready and how we can be confident on that test. So go ahead and let's take a look at the graphic organizer first. Okay, what do you notice that it's asking you to identify on the graphic organizer? What are some things you see? In the graphic organizer, we see thesis, right? Main points, okay? What else?
Textual evidence.
Textual evidence, right? Looking for that information that supports your main idea of the passage. What else is it asking you for?
Text features.
Text features. What does it mean by text features? The way the text is organized, the visuals that you see. So looking at the article and identifying the visual things that you see and how that information is put together and how it's organized. Then it gives you a section at the bottom for your own reflections. Now, when you take the Reading SOL, are you getting any graphic organizers? No. What are you getting on that day? Sheet of paper, scratch paper. So this is a great way for you to kind of pre-work out how you could use your scratch paper, create your own graphic organizer, because as you are reading, okay, you can organize that information to get ready for the questions, okay? Now this passage, we don't have any multiple choice questions. We're going to be working through and interacting with the text as we go to prepare to look for, because what types of questions are they going to ask you about? What are those multiple choice questions going to feature? What kind of information are they looking for? Main idea, supporting details, text features. So all these things that are featured in this graphic organizer, you're going to see questions about them on the test if you had something like this. Now look at the length of the passage. How long is it? Goes to both sides, right? Are the passages on any of your tests going to be short? No. Are they going to be the most exciting information and the most exciting articles you've ever read? No. Okay. Now this one is about sugar. I try to make it a little bit sweet for you today, but it is a nonfiction article. Okay. So we're going to look at this and we're going to talk about sugar intake. How many of you had some sugar this morning? How many of you had candy for breakfast? Okay. How many of you had a Monster or an energy drink this morning? Or coffee that you added sugar to it? Okay. So we're going to kind of look about those practices and kind of think about that and like what we're doing, and then also applying that and thinking about this article as we go through our strategies. Okay. So I'm going to be doing some annotating with you on the board here. We're going to be talking about this. But what's the first thing you should do when you see this article? Or any article that you see nonfiction? What do you look for? What do you do first? Look at your titles. Okay, so let's look at the title. Eating too much sugar may be killing you. Do you have any reflections to that? Do you have any thoughts about that title? Any ideas? Is there anything that we could annotate and look at with that article title? What do you think about that title? Is there a question you could ask that title? What would you ask it? How? Yeah. So just looking at the title from the beginning, I'm going to be like, how is it killing me, right? So that's going to be the first thing I'm going to look at. And so I know within this article, they're going to answer that question. How is it killing me? Okay? So go ahead and make sure you make that mark on your article. So what I'm annotating and what I highlight and what I do on my paper, you should do that as well. And on your graphic organizer, you can go in and fill in article title. You can go ahead and, is there an author? Yeah, it gives us a source, so you can fill in that information as well. Why is our author or source important for something like this? Why would that be important? Good morning. Check the store in 909, okay? Why would that be important for us? Why do we need to know our source material? To see if it's what? Credible, reliable, okay? To see, like, is this going to be some information that I can believe? Is it something that's going to have factual information in it, okay? And what are some other things you notice about this article, just visually? What do you see? Just glancing at it, what are some things that you notice? The article is filled with what?
Percentages.
Percentages, right? So We have some devices they're going to use, the rhetorical devices, okay? They're going to use our logos to kind of give us that information to help us understand the topic, give us that background, okay? So we know we're looking at something that's going to have percentages, it's going to have facts, it's going to give us a lot of information to figure what we're talking about out, okay? So, what kinds of questions are we answering in a nonfiction article? What are our basic questions we're looking to answer? 5 W's. Yeah. So when you are approaching it in the nonfiction articles, if you just do your 5 W's on your scratch paper and then make it your goal to answer those questions will help you find out what the main idea is, what the supporting detail, right? What your conclusion or your thesis statement are going to be. And looking at how those text features work together. So if anything, if you're focusing on those 5 W's, and as we read this article and as we annotate it, we're looking for the answers to those questions, okay? I don't know, it doesn't really show up on there, but you have the 5 W's, you can identify that information, okay? So one of the first things we are going to be looking for is what's the main idea of this article? What are they trying to prove? What are they trying to help us understand, okay? Do I have a volunteer like to read? All right, don't worry guys, I got it, okay? Sugar not only makes you fat, it may be killing you. Consuming too much added sugar in regular soda, cakes, cookies, and candy increases your risk of death from heart disease, according to a new study, the largest of its type. The risk of cardiovascular disease death increases exponentially as you increase your consumption of added sugar, says the study's lead author, Qian Yang, a senior scientist with the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Now that beginning information, what can we figure out? What can we identify? What answers have we found in that beginning section? Have we found a who, what, why, when?
I think it's kind of like a who, pointing name.
Okay, so we do have a who, right?
Yeah.
And she's a scientist for the Center for Disease Control. Okay. Have we found an answer to a what? What is this article talking about?
Consumption of sugar.
It's talking about consuming too much sugar. It does what to you? Yeah, it's going to lead to other diseases. Consuming too much sugar increases your risk. Okay? So that's telling us how it's going to be killing you. It's not just going to make you fat. It's not going to give you added weight. It's going to increase your risk for other diseases. Okay? So the rest of this article is going to be going and talking about how that is going to be harming your health and how that is going to be increasing your risk from heart disease. Okay? What other questions can we answer in that section? Any other ones that you can see there? Okay? All right, let's go into the next paragraph. Do anyone want to read?
Is it the next paragraph?
Starting with on average.
On average.
Thank you.
On average, adults in the USA in 2010 consumed about 15% of their daily calories, about 300 calories a day, based on a 2,000 calorie diet from added sugars. That's far more than the American Heart Association's recommendation that women consume no more than 100 calories a day from added sugars, or about 6 teaspoons of sugar, and men consume no more than 150 calories a day, or about 9 teaspoons. The World Health Organization recommends consuming less than 10% of the calories from added sugars.
Okay, so what does this paragraph give us?
When?
It gives us like when you're eating these things are going to happen, right? So it's giving us a lot more detail, like how these things are adding to these added diseases. So in here we're getting some supporting details, right? Okay. So let's look at our graphic organizer. Let's look back at what we've been asked to look for. Can we come up with a main idea for this article so far? Do we kind of have an idea of what we're talking about? We're getting there, right? What is important for this reading test? What do you have to do to come up with a main idea statement? You have to do what? Can we just read this beginning part and be okay? No, what are we going to have to do? You have to read the whole article, right? So a lot of things that I see with students that really catch them is that they want to skim articles, they want to go through it. Nothing beats a close reading. You have to go through the article and think about what it means, what it's saying, how it's answering different questions, okay? It's just like when you take a math test, what do you have to do? You have to show your work, right? You have to work through the problems. The same thing with the reading. You've got to work through it. You've got to read the article, so you have to go through what it's saying to you and interact with that text. I know it's not going to be exciting, but you have to go through the steps, go through the process. Think about what is it saying, what do I need to find out? How am I going to answer these questions, okay? Because I know some of us, how many of us like to skim an article? Look for keywords. Yeah, okay. But we have to make sure that you can preview the questions and then go back to the article, but make sure that you are going through the process and you're going through the reading. Is this test a race? No, you have all the time that you need. And so make sure you're working through the process and giving yourself that opportunity to answer those questions as fully as possible, okay? Let's look at the next paragraph. Can I have a volunteer reader for that one with one can? Thank you.
1 can of regular soda contains about 140 calories of added sugar. That's about 7% of the daily calories of someone eating 2,000 calories a day.
How many of you have already had a can of soda today? No? Excellent. I'm really proud of everyone. How many of you have more than 1 can of soda per day? Yeah, so think about that, how that adds up with your calories, right? Because that 1 can is 140 calories, and that's 7%, right? So it's kind of giving you more details, giving you more information, okay? Do you have another reader for the next one? Added sugars include table sugar, brown sugar, high fructose corn syrup, maple syrup, honey, molasses, and other calorie sweeteners in prepared and processed food and beverages. It does not include sugars that occur naturally in fruits, fruit juice, milk, and dairy products, okay? So let's look at what we can answer. Can we look at any information on our graphic organizer? Can we fill in the organizational strategy? How is this information presented to us? How is the information presented to us? Is it in sequential order? Is it in definition? Is it an explanation? What kind of information? How is it organized for us? Is it a cause effect? What do we have going on here? Yeah, we have some cause effect, right? So in the organizational strategy, you can look at cause effect. So they're telling us the causes of leading up to giving those diseases, right? And they're giving that explanation. So in your graphic organizer, that's one that you can go ahead and fill in. Can we fill in some of our text features? On the graphic organizer, on the other page, we're filling in the organizational strategy. What are some of the text features? What do you see? Yeah, this one. Uh-huh. What are some of the text features we've seen so far? We have things in bold, right? We saw percentages, okay? There's things that are in bullets. Yeah, so we did the organizational strategy, we're talking about cause and effect, and we're looking at text features. We said things were in bold. We're looking at facts and percentages. We have things in bullets, okay? Why is it important to look at how things are organized for understanding and comprehending? Why would that be important? It helps you understand the author's purpose. It helps you understand the author's goal. It helps us look at, how are they putting this information together to give that message to you. So understanding how the information is put all together will help you comprehend what the overall article main idea is. Okay, so text features, we said bold, percentages, we have bullets. Okay. And you need to have a conversation with your article, like what's it doing, what is this, how does this fit together, instead of just constantly just reading through the whole thing and then going back and trying to answer questions about what's going on with the article and trying to annotate as you go. So making sure that you are interacting with the text as you are reading. How many of you read a passage and then you're like, Oh, what did I just read? Has that happened to anyone? Every now and then? Okay, so asking yourself these questions and kind of annotating, giving yourself these notes are helpful because when you get to the questions, you already have an idea of what you've already read, okay? So making sure that you're going through and you're putting that effort in that interaction with the text will help you when you get, to the end to answer the questions, okay? Because you're going to be, looking at 6 to 8 passages, and this is going to be a lot of reading. And so if you, so the testing starts May 15th, and so it's going to be based on what block you have your English class.
I gotta feel proud.
And I don't know what the schedule off the top of my head is. I know the week of May 7th, we're starting 7-period days, so you're going to get to see all of your teachers every day before we get into the testing, and then we'll start with our alternating schedule for the SOLs. Once I'll post that up as well. Does everybody know about the after-school tutoring and the morning tutoring? Yeah, so you just sign up through your English teachers. I have that sign up as well. You can meet, it's Tuesdays and Thursday mornings or in the afternoons, and it's tutoring with Miss Athena, Miss Scott, Miss Lewis, Miss Suitors, and so you can get that information, and they're going through. So this week's theme was nonfiction. Next week we're looking at fiction and figurative language, and then we're looking at paired passages. So every week has a theme, and it'll be reflected in our tutoring sessions during the day as well. So if you can't come to after or before school tutoring, I have you during the day, okay? So if you have time during ABC and you want to stop by, this is what we're doing in ABC as well, okay? So tutoring is happening at any time that you need it. You just reach out to me and let me know if something's not working. If you miss, a Thursday or Tuesday class, let me know and I can get it made up, or I'll have extra materials for you as well, okay? And a lot of the stuff, what I tell your English teachers? They did a really great job today. They're really putting forth a lot of effort. They were volunteering today. They did a great job. They're doing all this extra work to prepare for this SOL. Can you have that conversation with your students? And a lot of the teachers are really grateful and appreciative of you doing that extra time and putting that effort in, and have that conversation with them and show them what you're working on, okay? Because I know a lot of you might need support in that English class, and you can let them know and have that conversation with them, okay? Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson.
This is Varina.